These 5 things will help you become absolutely amazing as a future clinician, because you want the people that you work with to absolutely love working with you because of all these qualities that make them feel served, make them feel heard, make them feel well taken care of. And it's kind of cool as a PT, because we end up spending a lot more time with patients than they do with most of their other medical providers. So there's some pretty cool things that we have, but there's certain qualities that if you work on them, you'll not only feel more confident as a future physical therapist, but more importantly, you are doing this to help people. So you'll be able to serve a lot more people even now, believe it or not. Turning dreams into reality. Hello, future doctors of physical therapy. How y'all doing? Hope you're having an absolutely amazing day. My name is Ngugi. I'm one of the co-founders of Pre-PT Grind. I'm also a physical therapist and a PT school acceptance coach. And what we do is we help you get into physical therapy school without wasting time or money. And in this video, I want to talk about you as a future PT and certain things, 5 keys that you can start working on right now that will help you become an amazing future physical therapist for your future patients. And I think sometimes we think that we have to wait until we have our PT license before we can start working on our future self as a physical therapist. So this is super, super important. And this is something that every single person watching this right now can work on, because as a PT, you work with people, right? Regardless of whether you work in a hospital setting, whether you'll work in pediatrics, whether you'll work in neuro or pelvic health. There's so many different areas, but at the end of the day, you're working with people, right? And so these 5 things will help you become absolutely amazing as a future clinician, because you want the people that you work with to absolutely love working with you because of all these qualities that make them feel served, make them feel heard, make them feel well taken care of. And it's kind of cool as a PT, because we end up spending a lot more time with patients than they do with most of their other medical providers. So there's some pretty cool things that we have, but there's certain qualities that if you work on them, you'll not only feel more confident as a future physical therapist, but more importantly, you are doing this to help people. So you'll be able to serve a lot more people even now, believe it or not. So let me dive into them, and then if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Feel free to also go to our main Pre-PT Grind website, which is preptgrind.com/home, and then of course we're on social media, so hit us up, ask us questions, and we got you. So let's talk about the 5 keys to being an amazing physical therapist for your future patients. All right. The first one is empathy. Empathy. If you want to be an amazing future physical therapist, ask yourself, how empathetic am I, or how much am I practicing empathy with the people that are around me? Whether it's my friends, whether it's colleagues, whether it's people that you're working with at your current job or your classmates. How aware are you about just trying to be empathetic and trying to put yourself in the shoes of other people? You might not always understand it, but always ask yourself, well, like one thing that I've always done, and maybe this will help you, but when I was in my last year of physical therapy school, I started telling myself, well, with any future patient that I see, I'm just going to assume that they are either my mother, father, brother, sister, cousin, auntie, uncle. Basically, I took, whoever I could associate that person with, and I said, I'm going to take care of them as if they are that person. And so because of that, I was also trying my best to be a lot more empathetic, right? And trying to really understand what this meant to them. If they've been in a lot of pain for, a year, what does that actually mean to them? What is that taking away from them? What are the activities that they love? Why are those activities so important? All those things make an amazing physical therapist. If you are not empathetic, you'll miss a huge opportunity to serve people at an insanely high level. Do not brush things over just because it's not your experience. And so if you want to be an amazing future PT, that's the first one. The second one is listening. We have, I don't know if you're in our virtual observation hours community where we teach students how to think like physical therapists, right? Pre-PTs, teaching them how to learn how to think like a physical therapist. And one thing we share with them sometimes is when we're, showing them case studies of patients that we're currently seeing and things like that. We also share with them moments where, we were stuck, like moments where we were, treating a patient and we were like, wait, like, that wasn't as clear as I thought it was going to be, right? And I think sometimes we're super uncomfortable with potentially not knowing what's going on. And we always teach our students how we deal with those situations, but what it comes down to is listening. How well do you listen? Like people tell, man, when people are being cared for by you, they will tell you exactly what they need. And many times we want to jump quick to an answer, trying to solve the problem too quickly, as opposed to just listening. So if you can get good at listening, pay attention to how you listen to the people around you. Are you a good listener to your friends? Are you a good listener when it comes to your significant other, when it comes to people that potentially annoy you? If you can just practice being a great listener, I'm telling you right now, that will translate into you becoming an amazing physical therapist for your future patients. That's number 2. Number 3 is a problem lover and a problem solver, right? I think sometimes when we see problems or obstacles, we usually run away from them. One of the cool things is people are paying you as a physical therapist to solve their problems. So one of the best things you can start doing is to actually love problems because where there's a problem, there's a potential for a solution, right? And when you can start seeing the lens through problems being a positive thing for you because you're going to figure out how to solve it, then you don't get rattled easily, right? I think sometimes when we're afraid of problems or we want to avoid problems, well, then when a patient walks in and they're a difficult case, or they're a patient that has something that's a little bit more complicated, or their personality is like whatever the complexity is, like sometimes if we don't want problems, we usually try to say, well, okay, let's get that person out of here. We don't serve that person as well as we should. And that's just humanity, y'all. So start loving problems, because as a physical therapist, that's what you're doing. Like, you're helping people solve their problems so that they can get their quality of life back, so that they can, be at their, son's or daughter's wedding, or, march down, walk them down the aisle, or graduate, or whatever it is. Maybe it's an athlete, whatever it is, just understand that you need to just start embracing problems. Like, understand that problems are a good thing. Like, that's something even for us, because we're business owners and physical therapists and a whole bunch of stuff. It's actually helped us serve a lot more people, right? Because for us, when we look at everything through the lens of problems, then we ask ourselves, is there a solution that already exists for that problem? And if there isn't, how can we become that solution for people, right? And if you start thinking that way, you're going to not only serve a lot more people, but you'll be that much better as a physical therapist. And people will love working with you because they'll be like, hey, I got this problem too, or my family member has this problem too. And now you're that person without you getting overwhelmed or stressed and being like, oh, all these people are trying to have me solve their issues. No, become a problem lover and a problem solver. That's what you do. Regardless of whether you're a PT or anything else, that's a quality that takes people far. And if you do the opposite, you'll end up complaining and struggling a lot more than you might realize. Number 4 is becoming a great communicator, right? One thing that unfortunately happens a lot is when you graduate from a doctorate level program or anything in medicine, I think sometimes people feel like they have to use big words. Well, I got to teach my patients these big words. No, like, people are not there to your patient does not want to become a physical therapist. Well, they might if they're younger, but most of your patients do not. Most of your patients just want to understand what's wrong with them, and they want to get better. So have you noticed that even when we talk to you guys, we don't use big words? We don't isn't it kind of nice to just listen to very plain 5th grade or below level, conversational English, right? So just understand, when you communicate to your patients, do not use a whole bunch of big words. Yes, you'll learn those in school, but talk to them where they're at. I'm telling you right now, if you use 5th grade, 5th grade level conversation or below, you're always going to hit the jackpot, right? Shoot, 3rd grade or below is even better, but just very clean, very clear. To be honest, if you can explain the stuff that you're explaining to an adult, if you can explain that to a kid and the kid understands it, that one means that you communicated it phenomenally, but at the same time, it also means that you understand what you're communicating, right? So become a great communicator. Start practicing communicating. Start practicing taking difficult things and explaining them to, maybe if you have siblings siblings or cousins or nieces or nephews or kids that you're, associated with, start explaining it to them and seeing if they understand it. And if they do, oh man, you're well on your way to being a phenomenal communicator. And the last one is an advocate for the people you care for. So when you're an advocate, you're basically representing them. So when you take on clients or patients or whatnot, you have to ask yourself, am I just seeing this person and just kind of saying, well, I'll treat you, and then after 2-3 visits, I'll send you home? Or are you saying, hey, I'm taking on the role, I'm taking on the responsibility to advocate for this patient? So for example, if you work in an insurance setting, are you willing to advocate for your patient with the insurance company? Are you willing to advocate for your patient with other providers? Y'all, and we can get into this in so much more depth, but start seeing yourself as an advocate. If you start seeing yourself as an advocate, then you will be going to battle for the people you serve. And if you do that, I'm telling you right now, people are going to love you, but they're also going to feel served by you. Chances are no one else up until that point would have done all those things for them. And it'll allow you to also enjoy your job because every single person that at least I speak with that genuinely wants to become a physical therapist has a heart for serving people. It has a heart for giving to others and seeing that others, get better or get well and all the above. So those are 5 things. Those are 5 keys to becoming an amazing physical therapist for your future patients. I hope that made sense. And those are all things you can start working on now before you get your PT license, before you finish physical therapy school. And if this was helpful to you, then please share this with a friend. Please like and subscribe, of course. And we will be more than happy to continue serving you. We have plenty of videos in the past, plenty of videos coming up. And of course, if you want to learn more about how we can serve you, go to preptgrind.com/home. And we'll see you there. Have a good one.